The government is shut down. Day 2. Thanks to the Democrat Party's insistence that illegal aliens get health care and honestly a lot more. A lot more. Other costly demands are on the list. Most of the Senate Democrats voted no on continuing this resolution because they refused to support it unless portions of the One Big Beautiful Bill were repealed. Portions that eliminated waste, fraud, and abuse in our health care systems being used by illegals, for example. It is yet another example of their America Last agenda. Here, by the way, is what Vice President J.D. Vance said in response.
Let's step back for a second, because I think it's important for the American people to realize that the far left faction of Senate Democrats shut down the government because we wouldn't give them hundreds of billions of dollars for health care benefits for illegal aliens. It's actually not even all Senate Democrats. I was really gratified to see that a few of the moderate Senate Democrats voted with Senate Republicans last night to keep the government open. This is basically Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer, he's worried he's going to get a primary challenge from AOC, and so he's shutting down the people's government to give in to sort of the left-wing coalition and their party. And it's craziness, and people are going to suffer because of it. I mean, people who benefit from low-income food programs are going to suffer because of this. If you're flying today, I hope, of course, you arrive safely and on time, but you may not arrive on time because the TSA and the air traffic controllers are not getting paid today. Our military is not getting paid today, starting today. And obviously, the longer this drags on, the worse that it is for the American people.
Well, we'll see. We'll see how bad it is as they continue to cut government programs. Democrats are going to regret doing this. Yeah, it's correctly being called the Schumer shutdown because Chuck Schumer is who is at fault here because he cannot control the radical left wing of his party. That's a fact. Here's the thing. Democrats understand deep down that an America Last agenda is deeply unpopular with the majority of Americans, especially those that vote. And actually, 2/3 of Americans say that the Democrats in Congress should never have forced the federal government to shut down if their demands weren't met. That according to a national poll that came out from the Wall Street Journal and the New York Times here recently. But Democrats realized decades ago that importing millions of illegal immigrants and giving them free stuff could be the future of their party. The only path forward, in fact. The only path forward. But they feel the need to lie about what they're doing. And lucky for them, they've got the backing of the mainstream media who will clear the way for their lies if possible. Here, for example, is Senator Schumer. I'm with Joe Scarborough over at MSLSD. Listen.
We need to clear this up because this is the lie that Republicans are using to try to confuse their base, lie to their base, lie to the American people. Talk about the claim that Democrats are shutting down the government to give illegal immigrants health care benefits.
Yep, Joe, you are right on the money. It's a total, absolute effing lie. And why are they doing it? You talked about clicks and emotion. That's some of the reason. But I'll tell you the real reason. They're afraid of the truth.
The real reason, Chuck, is you're afraid of AOC. That's a fact. The grift is unbelievable. Let's look at the facts, shall we? On your screen, the Democrats' proposal for what they wanted in exchange for passing the continuing resolution. It demands a repeal of health subtitle changes. So what were those changes that they were referencing? Well, take a look. It's the alien Medicaid eligibility that they wanted repealed. The text from the One Big Beautiful Bill that clawed back funds used for illegal aliens and Medicaid, for example. Your tax dollars were being used on people who came here to this country illegally and then refused to leave. And Democrats want it to continue, so much so, in fact, that they're willing to shut down the government over it. And they're counting on the pundits to cover for them. And while people like Speaker Mike Johnson have to try to set the record straight over and over again, it gets tiresome. Here he is with the ever-consistent Caitlin Collins, consistently left, that is. Here it is.
You're saying they want to give free health care to people who are in the United States illegally.
That is exactly what the effect will be.
But when I looked at it, there's a little nuance because they want to undo changes that y'all made, narrowing who is eligible to get that. Those are people who are refugee seekers, asylum seekers. They're not technically people who are here illegally, just cross the border.
No, this is exactly what will happen. And Maxine Waters admitted, I think, accidentally today on the House steps, they want to give health care to everybody.
But Maxine Waters is not in charge. She's not the one. She didn't write this proposal.
She's one of the senior leaders in the House. And everybody should Google it and read their counter proposal
yourself. But you see my point, right? You're making this argument that they want to just give health care to everyone who's here illegally. This is not for people who cross the border and don't have paperwork. These are people who have temporary protected status, right?
Absolutely. What will happen if that counter proposal was enacted is illegal aliens would be paid for. American taxpayers, hard-earned dollars, would be paying for benefits for illegal aliens again. We're not doing that.
But it's against federal law for for people who are here illegally to get healthcare.
And that's why our reforms are so important to enforce all that. What the important thing to remember is what's happening
I didn't see that the Democratic proposal that people who are here illegally should get healthcare.
No, because they don't have the level of specification that we had in our bill. It will unwind that, and all those things that the CBO just verified will be reversed. We can't afford to do that.
But you see my point, that there's nuance in the argument that you're making, right?
No, that is a red herring in this debate.
It is a red herring, in fact, he's right about that. Maxine Waters, by the way, has been in the game so long that she's letting the mask slip along with her mind, even while she's mad at being held accountable for her views. Listen to this one.
So you're good with the government shutdown, even if it means giving health care to people who aren't American citizens?
Well, that's what you're pushing on. What you're trying to do is you're standing here and you're trying to make me say that somehow we're going to put non-citizens over Americans. Quit it. Stop it. This is the kind of journalism we don't need.
No,
you're divisive. No, you're not.
Yeah, no,
you're being divisive. No, please. You don't need to ask that question. You're just trying to get controversy here. You're not going to get it from me. We want to save health care for all people. Thank you.
You want an intelligent response? You're not getting it from me. Thank you, Maxine. We appreciate that. 61% of swing state voters said President Biden bears at least some responsibility for the migrant surge at the southern border. Obviously, it's a lot higher than that. Also in those states, voters trust Trump more than they did Biden to handle immigration. Now, the Republicans up by 22 points. Donald Trump is. The America Last strategy is turning voters away.